lesson is on walking bass lines, creating them for your fingerstyle arrangement. And this is a pretty big subject. I mean, guys, study bass for a lifetime, and here we're going to try to just whip some bass parts out for a fingerstyle arrangement. But there are some certain things that you can do that are fairly easy to do that give a lot of motion to your fingerstyle arrangement. Once you get that bass line going, I'll tell you something, you're committed, because once you leave it out, it's like now you're really missing something. So I just want you to be aware that when we do a fingerstyle arrangement, a lot of times it's good to maybe open it up with Bado, then maybe with some jazz counter lines and something, and then finish it out with the bass line in the song. And that way we're kind of building up in intensity. Once we get that bass line in there, it's hard to take it out. So what I've done here is I've written out several different examples of playing a bass line with some chord changes. Most of it's in the key of G or G minor. And what I hope to do with this lesson is to get you to experience what it's like to play the bass line. Then we can incorporate it into an arrangement. Now we'll be doing the lesson after this. I hope to show you several examples of bass lines, and then we'll actually do an arrangement with the bass line. But this lesson is, I hope to show you some ideas as far as creating the bass line, as well as examples playing the bass line against very common chord progressions. So I think it'll be good for you. It's kind of an introduction to the creating our bass line, but it's more than that, because these are things that you can really use and put them into your arrangements. So anyway, let's get on with it. Before we do, I want to say this about your bass line. You can actually, a bass line, you have really, when you listen to a song or whatever, what are the components? The melody, the chords, and the bass. In other words, the bass sets up the feel, sets up the groove. The bass is probably the most important instrument in the band. Okay, so is that bass. It fills out the chords, and it gives you that direction as where the chords are going and stuff. And it makes the feel for it. So really, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of songs that just have the bass line. You just have the bass line and the melody. The way that I like to play is to fill it in with a lot of chords as well. But anyway, let's get into with our first example, and that is alternating between the root and fifth. The root and fifth are probably the most important ones. And you've heard this many a times where you got that sound of the root going to the fifth. And that can be as a jazz style. And so anyway, there's my root, there's my fifth. Now when we talk about these tones, obviously we're talking about scale tones, major and minor. Let me start right now with example number one. Let's go close up. In example number one, basically I've got a G minor chord here, just barring across with my first finger. This hand is grabbing the bass, 4, 3, 2 strings. And when you think about a melody is either going to fall on the beat, or it's going to fall off the beat. So here's my root and here's my fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, one exercise you could do is just play 4 on the beat and 4 off the beat. thumb is covering the bass, and these are covering what it might be the melody note. Now example 1 sounds like this. I've got a whole note, and then 1 and 2, then 3 and 4. So measure 2 sounds like this. So together they sound like this. Get the idea? So we're keeping our steady quarter note walking rhythm, quarter note rhythm, and that's a jazz feel. Right? And we're going to go ahead and we're just playing with some chords there. Now I threw in the 5 chord only because I like to do that on arrangements, just because even if it's set a G minor for a long time, just to give more harmony to the song. There's example number 1. Example number 2 shows